Hi. First of all the best. Gomesh from New Indian Express. When the last few weeks you've spent in Chennai and got acclimated to condition, but as the nerves settled in, getting closer to the debut game, like what is the mood like in the camp?
Yeah, we've obviously had some really good preparation in Dubai prior to Chennai. We were able to play some competitive cricket out there against Ireland, and then we've had some good practice games as well. For us, the prep in terms of getting ready has been very good so far, and I think it sort of sunk in and got real when the game started yesterday. We've had some good discussions as a group in terms of how we're going to deal with the pressures of a tournament like this, and yeah, that realness is starting to sink in. There'll be a few nerves around, which is going to be normal. Um, the opportunity for us as players to create something special is what our focus is on, and we can only control as a group what we can, and that's the message to the players. We've gained a lot of confidence from the way we've played in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, the obviously the atmosphere and everyone here in India has been so welcoming. It's a cricket mad nation, and for us as players, just to be able to come to India to play is I mean, it's a huge honour. So it's important for us to enjoy ourselves, and that's our biggest message to the group.
And we saw Rahul Dravid. You met the team yesterday and had a chat with them, and like, what has the conversation been like? Were you able to pick his brain on any particular stuff?
Um, Roll spoke to a couple of our guys. Unfortunately, I didn't really speak to him, so I sort of can't comment on that. But I know he had some pretty good conversations with some of our coaches and players. But yeah, I mean, amazing that we're able to bump into, I mean, world class players and people of the game, and to be able to learn from them as a cricket nation that's developing it's always going to be valuable for us.
Hi, I'm Shreyas from Cricinfo. Obviously, the world of cricket, at least the Asian audiences, have come to terms with knowing that Italy will be at the World Cup. But the sort of the press media, it was kind of slow back in Italy till they recently started picking up about qualification of Italy to the World Cup. Could you just tell us a bit about at home what the buzz is being created at Italy in terms of fan support and stuff like that? Are people traveling? Are fans traveling here?
I think there will be some fans that travel. Yeah, I think the buzz and the fan support's only going to get bigger as we get into the tournament and when the games start to get onto TV. I know there have been some articles in local papers, so it's starting to get out the message that we're here at the World Cup, and it's going to be our first, and it's obviously going to be a big moment for cricket in Italy and for growing the game. But I think as the World Cup starts and once the games start to be played on television, that is only going to grow further and further. So yeah, we hope, well, we're expecting more momentum in that regard once the tournament kicks underway properly for us.
Can I ask one more? Yeah. So, see, over here in India, we only see highlights reels of good performances of the Italian team on social media and on highlight sites. But for the uninitiated, how would you describe your sort of your team in terms of your strengths, areas of, I won't say weaknesses, but where you're still behind on developing, and what sort of cricket can we expect them to play in these 4 group games?
Yeah, like as you say, there's only been small sort of clippets of us so far, but I think one thing that we do well is we play as a unit, play as a team. We've got some experience in our group, guys who've played in franchise tournaments around the world, but equally we've got young players who people wouldn't have seen, so a little bit of X factor in that regard. And we also view this as an opportunity to show off our skills. So it's skills that not necessarily have been seen on the international stage before, which is exciting for us. But yeah, we've got what we believe is a pretty good batting unit with quite a lot of experience, and we've got 3 really good spinners. Our seam attack as well. We've got some experience behind that. So we feel that we're well covered in terms of what we have. Obviously, we've not had a lot of playing experience at this level, so that is a factor that we have to address and look at to improve on, I suppose. But for us to do that, we've got to win games of cricket at this World Cup.
And just one final question, of course, given your history of playing other World Cups in other sports. Of course, there is no such fairy tale like how South Africa have won the Rugby World Cup in the 90s, and your own experience of that culture of captaincy and so on. You're going to bring some of that in as well, I'm sure, from your past experience of being in a global tournament. What sort of thoughts have you given to your team about, or where do you come from learning all those skills all those years?
Yeah, I think one huge benefit that we have as a group of players is that we're a real good mix of cultures in our team. We bring that balanced mix of Australian descent, South African descent, a lot of South Asian descent as well. So for us, it's and the experience I can bring from playing a lot of cricket around the world, but also playing in a previous World Cup is sort of dealing with the pressures that come with it, the expectations, the external expectations, and that's something that we've tried to communicate. Dave and I have done quite a lot of work with the team, getting a psychologist involved to help with that side of things as well, with preparing for getting into big moment games and how we deal with that sort of external pressure, and keeping the focus on what we can control as players. So I think that's the message from our side with having dealt with other sports and other experiences.
I'll just add, sorry, can I just add on the balance of the team? We're really fortunate to have a lot of all-rounders in the team, which gives us a lot of variety with our bowling, but also gives us good depth with our batting.
Coach, the Italian team has players who have grown up across the world but have Italian roots, like Sri Lanka, India, Australia, South Africa. And over the last year, one of the things we understand is that speaking Italian in the dressing room was made thing to build a team culture. How good are the Italian of some of the other guys who've joined the team recently, and how has that helped in bringing the team together and feeling as one?
Yeah, there's obviously the guys who have grown up in Italy speak Italian as their first language, and then you've got guys who are based elsewhere who some of them speak very good Italian. JP Mead's our unofficial translator, so if we're in a team meeting and the local boys don't understand some of the, we've got our sports psychologist is from Derbyshire. He's got quite a thick accent, so they may struggle understanding some of the words. So JP Mead will translate to them. There's other guys who I'm the worst. My Italian's not good at all. But there's other guys who are developing it, and they see, particularly for the players who want to play long term and really build the Italian culture, they're making an effort. Grant Stewart, for example, has a tutor who's teaching him the language. So, yeah, it's good. It's really nice to hear the Italian language in the room. I've got to get better.
Yeah, in continuation of that, I'm Zafar from Sana 24/7. How do you react to the tag of being the B team of Australia? And when we would see the full-grown players from Italy, you had rich culture in Inter Milan, Genoa. They had the cricket team, I think, 100 years back. So how do you react to that point? And you had beaten once UAE in one of the match. So are you looking for any further upset in this tournament, having just one win, not losing all the matches?
Firstly, I haven't heard us referred to as Australia B. That's new to me, and probably not something we'd like to hear. We're the Italian team, and I think if you speak to the majority of the boys, you'll see their Italian roots and the way they connect to the country. And in terms of our expectations for the tournament, we've been building really nicely. A very good win against the UAE, who's ranked much higher than us in the ICC rankings. And our biggest challenge now is to take our form that we've shown in the practice matches into the pressure cooker of the World Cup. So how we react to the big stage is going to be our biggest challenge.
From Hindustan Times. Normally when we have a debutant team in a World Cup, for them it's not just about wins and losses, it's also about the experience. It's also about what they learn on the process, on the go. But there must have been few things you have discussed as a team within yourselves that we have to at least achieve this. So have you set yourself some benchmark regarding that when you look at the team and yourself, the teams in the group, the entire tournament? Have you set yourselves at least some benchmark that we have to achieve this?
I think we're more focused on what we do rather than the outcome. If we play our best cricket and are in the mindset of playing brave cricket, then I think we can perform at this level. The results, as we've seen, this game, even in the first two days, we've seen some associate teams who have really pushed the full members. It's one of those games, T20, that brings the lower teams and the higher teams closer together. And it only takes one or two good performances, and that can turn a match or decide a match.
Thank you.
Coach, have you any idea about the impression and idea about your opponent? And what about the pitch? Are you follow the match yesterday?
Yes, we definitely know the Scottish team very well. We're fortunate to have an assistant coach, Dougie Brown, who has coached Scotland and played for Scotland. So he knows these guys really well. So we will go into this match very well prepared. We watched the game yesterday, and obviously good batting track, fast outfield, and we will have plans that suit those conditions. It's just a matter of executing them. Yes, please.
Hello, I'm Giacomo Fazola from Corriere della Sera, Italy. Do you think you will benefit from the fact that the opponents don't know you, or maybe don't know all of your skills? Of some players, maybe they don't.
Yeah, I think that will be of benefit to us in certain aspects. I mean, nowadays with the way games are sort of recorded around the world, there's a lot more intel. But we do have some players who teams wouldn't have seen much of, and there's definitely an element of sort of surprise that will help us through this competition. So I'd say yes, there is that side of things. But as we have played a couple of warm-up games, and they've been televised, so teams would have been able to have a look at certain aspects of our play. But I'd say there are a couple of players who they wouldn't have seen too much of, which is an advantage.
Yeah, I'll add to that. Like our experience against UAE, had a couple of bowlers who were a little bit different, and it took a little bit of time for our guys to get used to. So that's an example of what you're talking about. You know, when you're playing new opponents in foreign conditions, you're getting used to, one, the opponent, and two, the conditions.
Is there also a message you want to send to Italy to boost the enthusiasm for your experience? Not strictly in Italian.
Okay.
You can do it in
I
English.
can do that later. You know, you're putting me under the pump a little bit. I think, I mean, the message for us as a team, we obviously want as much support and as possible from people in Italy, obviously number one, but from around the world. And we are, we're going into this tournament to take the opportunity, and we're going to give it a go and play some enjoyable cricket as a team. I think that's it. We want to make everyone proud back in Italy, and we want to leave a legacy that cricket develops in the country. So it's a fantastic opportunity, but we want everyone to get behind us and support us through this tournament. And yeah, it's going to be a great journey, and we're looking forward to having a lot of people behind us.
I think there's already been quite a few big name sportsmen from other sports who have shouted out on social media to the boys, and that's been awesome to see.
Yeah, just follow up what the gentleman just said. You know, how many times, we're talking about not knowing each other that much, how many times have you met your opponent because you're both from the European sector? Another thing is, like, Italy has been struggling. We from here in India, we mostly see them as a big football nation. I mean, 4 World Cups, and but they have been struggling the last few times. So, sort of, I wouldn't say they have gone down totally, but the rise of cricket. How do you find a space with this huge? Like, do kids take up cricket or say we'll play football?
Yeah, I think there were quite a few questions in there, so I'll start with the first one. As David said, we know the Scottish guys pretty well from having played them quite a bit, but the other teams we haven't played yet, Nepal, and neither England or West Indies. So those are sort of new games for us. In terms of football being the main sport in Italy, obviously, yeah, this is our opportunity as cricket to grow the game. It still is relatively small within the country, And I think for us, it's that opportunity to grow the game. We saw the rugby team get one over Scotland yesterday in the Six Nations. So hopefully we can emulate that tomorrow when we start against Scotland.
If you need any history of Italian cricket, the gentleman at the back of the room, Mr. Gambino, can tell you anything you need to know.
A two-part question for me. Since the qualification over the last 18 months or so, or rather since you started playing, how much has cricket taken up in the country in terms of the hundreds of clubs coming in and academies, and how much has inclusion in the Olympics has helped in terms of funding? That's one. And second, the football team is playing a qualifiers in March, and you're here already at a World Cup. How special is that for the cricket team, and what does that mean to the players to do something special?
So the first part of the question in terms of the clubs and how much it's picked up, I don't think it would necessarily have picked up yet since qualification to now. There will be the exposure that we're getting from the World Cup. I believe that this will enhance the game and the growth of the game within the country. A lot obviously needs to happen in that regard for it to be sort of fulfilled in terms of that side of things. So yeah, I think in terms of number of clubs, I know we've got over 100 clubs in the country, and yes, we don't have a turf pitch yet, and that's obviously one of the focuses of the federation going forward, is to try and do that so that we can have international cricket in the country, and that will then lead to the game further developing and getting better within Italy.
In terms of funding, I think because cricket is now an Olympic sport, we fall under the CONI, the Olympic umbrella. So I'm not sure of the figures, but if you're an Olympic sport, you are better funded.
Can I go again? Yeah. So
there was a second part. The Italy football team is playing a quarter-final qualifiers in March, and you're already at a World Cup. So what does it mean to do something special before the football?
Hopefully we can inspire the football team onto a World Cup as well. That'll be quite nice if we can perform to a level that inspires them to get to the World Cup.
Coach, you yourself and one of the assistant coaches are no strangers to doing remarkable things at the World Cups, and in terms of like self-expression, even against big teams or the big stage, you guys are both familiar to it. So I'm sure that part of your playing career also you're bringing into this team. Could you just explain how the process is in that sense? Because of course I want to hear about how you're motivating the team, because you are someone familiar with the big stage as well as your assistant coach.
We had a chat last night, and I reflected on my performance in my first World Cup. And the big thing was belief, and having the belief to be able to do it. So that was the conversation that we've been having. And we had the sports side involved as well, who took over from me and gave a more educated version of it. But yeah, the experience of myself and Kevin, Kevin scored 100 against England in India in a match-winning game. I think that just shows people how tangible it is. We weren't world beaters, we weren't the most talented players going around, but we somehow took our opportunity, and I think it makes it more believable for the group.
I can vouch for how powerful that was on the team. Davo sharing his message and story and sort of opening up to us on it was pretty inspirational and powerful in the group, and I think those sort of things really help to inspire us to go and achieve and believe in what we have skill-wise.
And my final question to you would be that, never know about 2 years down the line what happens and so on. So being at this World Cup is extremely special for this group of players. So when you landed in India, you must have seen the sort of, maybe you have seen, or maybe somebody in the Big Bash has seen who plays in your team, but the rest for them, it's all brand new. The buzz of a World Cup, the media hype, the security, the fandom, all these things. Could you reflect on the week which has been in India for you so far, and what are the more youngsters in your team really looking forward to in this month in terms of going out for food, probably Italian food, maybe local food? Tell us a little bit about these things as well.
Well, first and foremost, I think everyone in the team is looking forward to playing now. We've had a great time in terms of the prep and getting out, learning a bit more about the culture. We've got a fantastic group of liaison people, security and staff around us who've been very supportive in educating us on India and Indian cuisine and that side of things. So it's embracing the culture is one of the messages to the team while we're out here. But for our younger guys, the experience of playing is going to be probably the most valuable part of this. And even for the guys who don't get out onto the field, being around and in the environment and supporting the 11 that are out there and learning from this wonderful experience is that is the biggest, I would say, learning for us as a group and team, and the biggest room for growth individually.
Thank you.
Yeah, last question, please. Anyone?
Yeah. I'm Zafar here again. You are sitting in this city which is the football capital of India. Everyone
saw
on the
saw Messi the other day.
Yeah. And everyone here, they know about Maldini, they know about Paolo Rossi. Which team do you support in Italy? Inter or AC Milan? And what is your impression about Indian football, if you know anything about that?
Well, I'm Roma and Totti. That's as my Italian team. Yeah, so that's my Italian team that I support.